welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I am Banjo Ben, your host here on the website to teach you how to play banjo and mandolin. This week is Guitar Week, and we're right in the peak of the Christmas music season. I had a request on Facebook to teach a version of O Little Town of Bethlehem. That's what we're going to do in the key of G, and we're playing the very basic melody, but what makes it a lot of fun is we're adding the chords beneath the basic melody to give it harmony and to allow you to do this as a solo piece. Another thing that this lesson really works on is your pick hand accuracy, because you're having to jump around and hit individual strings, and so it's really good practice in that regard. Now, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, here in a moment, I'll ask you to come over to the website, BanjoBenClark.com. You can join as a Gold Pick member. That gives you access to stream all of my videos, there's hundreds of them, as well as download tabs and MP3, so I'd be honored to have you as a member over there. Let's look at the first measure of this classic Christmas carol. Let's learn a really pretty, and it's fun, and a pretty easy version of O Little Town of Bethlehem on guitar in the key of G. I like this one because it sounds great, just solo guitar, and you can just sit around the house as everybody's getting ready to eat that fat Christmas ham and put them in the mood, okay? Now, another reason why I like this is because we're going to play the straight up melody all the way through the song. We're going to do it all with a flat pick. But we're going to add some harmonies by playing the chords beneath it. So let's go ahead and throw the first line of tab up there, and we'll see how we do that. You'll notice a couple things. One is I don't have the pick direction arrows, and that's because it's going so slow. You can use downstrokes or upstrokes, whatever you want. The other thing is I've got the melody notes highlighted there with the little box around them. What I'd recommend is you just go through this, print off this tab if you're over on the website, and go through this and just learn that basic melody. And then it'll be much easier to add the accompaniment beneath it. And I'm going to show you how best to finger that to make it smooth and to also be easier. So the first chord position we're going to get in is a modified G chord position. I'm going to do it with my ring finger down here. You can do your middle finger if you want. It'll just change your fingering a little bit, but I'm going to do my ring finger because that makes going into the C chord a little easier. And I'm going to play that 3rd fret down there in the low E string. But then on the A string, the 5th string, I'm going to mute it with that fatty part of my ring finger because I'm going to want to brush through these strings starting there in measure 2. That's what that little B is with the arrow. Okay, so our first note we play is that pickup note at the end of measure 1 on the 2nd string, O, and then on lit, we're going to strum through these bottom 5 strings, and don't go through all of them because we don't want that high E string. Oh, little town of... But here's the key. We want to leave that ring finger or middle finger, which are when you're playing, down all the way through that measure because we want those notes to ring out throughout the whole measure. If we're doing it with our middle finger, you might want to do that. Now we'll go to a C chord. So go ahead and measure 3, go straight to your C chord, except you're going to add a ring or your pinky to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string because that's our melody note. Bethlehem. Okay, so play your C chord, then throw your pinky down and strum through those middle 4 strings. Beth-la. Then lift your pinky for la. Ham, come down to that D string. And then here I want you to leave that middle finger down, but the last note of measure 3, you're going to play with your ring finger right beneath it on that 2nd fret of the G string because we want this note here to ring out. And anytime we move our fingers in this, we want to leave them down as long as we can before we have to move them. That's just going to help it be fluid. Oops. Then we're going to make a quick shift in measure 4. I want you to come up and play the 3rd fret on the 2nd string with your middle finger. You'll notice here that the melody note is actually down there on the G string. Dum, bum, 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 bum. But we're going to grab a harmony note above it this time just to add another tone in there. So we brush through the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. Leave it down, leave that middle finger down, and then play these single notes. Let me play measures 1 through 4 for you, and then just keep in mind that I'll play it much slower for you later in a different video segment. So work first on getting the melody, And then work on getting all your accompaniment notes in there, and then work on getting it smooth. Work on doing fast chord changes and holding your fingers down as long as you can to make it as legato as possible. Now as we get to measure 5,